Welcome back to Blackwood95, a Monster of the Week actual play. This is episode 6, and we're going to pick up right in the middle of the action as the trio of hunters went to investigate a murder at the nearby campground for the town of Blackwood. They followed a mysterious man out into the woods, and as Jacob tried to run him down, the man spun and shot at him. He gave him a warning, and before the warning had fallen silent, the man was cocking back the hammer on his .38 as Jacob gathered spectral energy into his hands, and we are rolling right into a fight at the beginning of this episode. So, Jacob, as the man cocks the hammer back on his .38, you watch the chamber slide into place. You're about 20 feet away, a few trees and a little bit of brush between you. You can hear your friends thundering up behind you. Your energy gathers in your hands. Go ahead and give me a kick some ass roll.
So, and since Jacob's never used this ability, we'll kind of explain that Jacob has an ability, being a monstrous, that I originally it was close range, but I actually have it as a intimate range. I'm sorry, which is hand-to-hand combat. But Jacob has the ability to use at close range. It's basically the same range as a handgun. Mm-hmm. And I can basically just throw balls of energy at somebody, and it's like a handgun. They do 1 harm, but they also heal me because they life drain the target.
Nice. Okay.
That's what you thought.
So, after you got shot once on the way to this confrontation, as you arrived in this small clearing, first bullet rips into your shoulder. You gave him a warning. Does he want to continue? And with no expression, he cocked back the hammer and fired again. You were able to get that spectral energy out as it flies off. It does not connect with him as the second bullet takes you in the stomach. You take another 2 harm as it slams into you. You can feel, the wet blood kind of splash against the side of your hand as you reel under that. Again, that loud report of that gun echoes through the woods as Lucas and Frank come running up next to Jacob, who is now slammed back into a tree. You can see blood behind him. He's bleeding from 2 wounds on his torso. And you see this man who's not making a move to run. He, even despite the fact that he sees the 2 of you coming up, he's just cocking the hammer back on his pistol again. What would anybody do?
So, upon hearing the gunshot report, I would have pulled my, I have a 9mm, I think. I would have pulled that out, and yes, I've got a 9mm.
Okay. So, Frank comes running up with a 9mm out. Would you try to shoot this man?
I would take cover behind a tree, and then yes.
Okay.
Try to shoot him.
Okay, so you jump behind cover, and they're going to try to shoot. Anything that Lucas would be doing at this point?
Lucas, seeing a gun, probably would have immediately dove behind a tree.
Okay, so Lucas goes behind a tree, and then Frank, as you see... Jacob, as you see Frank run up with the 9mm, kind of takes a little bit of cover, but is looking like he's gonna take a shot. Would you also be trying to continue the fight, or are you going to take cover?
So a couple of things are going to happen with Frank right now. As he takes that shot to the stomach, he evolves.
Jacob, you're getting your own name wrong.
Yeah, I know. Because he said Frank ran up.
Right. I know.
Jacob is going to evolve because he failed again. That's 5 experience points. So he's going to get a playbook, and he's going to get the ability to shapeshift into animals at some point, so Jacob evolves a little bit. But even with that evolution, he's hurting. That's his third point of damage right now. So he's got to try and hit, and damage this guy back. So Jacob is going to fire back at him again with his magic energy to try and heal himself a little bit.
Okay. I'll have both of you give me a kick some ass roll. As this man starts to unload his pistol towards the 2 of you.
There's 12.
12's really good. 12 would allow you to... you gain an extra effect, so You tell me what the extra effect you want on there. Are you rolling the kick some ass, Frank? Okay. I think Frank.
Kick some ass.
Yeah, I think Frank takes the shot this time as you pop up from behind cover. You see the energy ball from Jacob fly out. You take the shot, but before you could quite get the aim down, bullet rips into your shoulder for 2 points. Now, I think you wear a flak jacket, right?
I do.
Okay, so that soaks 1.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of rock back as the small caliber slug slams into your shoulder. Pain for sure flashes through you, but you see the ball of energy from Jacob slam into this man. Jacob, what does the ball do?
So the ball's gonna basically hit him like a physical force and knock him back and off a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna knock him down. I don't know if it's that strong, but as it hits him, and it's gonna do 1 harm to him, you're gonna the ball. Then a line shoots from him to me, and I'm going to heal a point of damage.
Okay. So is the extra effect that you're giving this is that you force him where you want him to go?
Yes.
Okay.
So the extra effect that I'm giving him is I force him where I want them, and I'm going to push him back, and just kind of I want to throw him off balance so that if he's going to shoot again, he's going to. I don't know if we can give him a minus.
I can. Yeah,
I'll take.
I'll take that into effect. So you, as the blast hits him, he kind of staggers back. Again, I think all 3 of you that can see this happening, he's shooting, that's his 3rd shot with the 6-shot revolver. The blast hits him, clearly hurts him. You can see like some of his, you can see like lines appear in his skin, stress lines. You hear like a ragged exhalation of breath. But at no point does he appear in pain. At no point does he look shocked that this thing hit him and knocked him off. He doesn't look uneasy. He just a blank expression as he kind of staggers back, firing still as he takes another shot. Are you going to continue fighting him?
Yeah, I'm gonna take another shot.
Okay, and Lucas, are you staying down?
They've all got guns and I don't, so yeah.
Okay. And I think that Lenore is nearby but not in danger, and you basically can hear her or feel her connection of like this is dangerous. Lucas, you get the impression though in that connection that this is dangerous, that there are other dangers nearby beyond what's happening right now.
Oh shit.
Go ahead, the 2 of you give me another kick some ass roll.
And Lucas, you can do a help out roll if you feel like it too, which is a cool roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a -1 roll for me, but.
Hey, that's all right. We're all new, so I'm throwing stuff out there.
I gotcha.
So
I got your back by not helping you out.
also to throw into the mix, if the 2 of you can both continue to roll kick some ass, but you can also do other things. Like one of you could try to protect the other one. You could use magic. You could try to tackle him, rush up and tackle him. There's lots of things you could do. So you tell me what you want to do as this fight has continued. This is seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob is going to stand there, and I'm going to trade shot for this guy. I'm not backing down either. That's just me.
All right.
I'll take my damage, and I hopefully am able to absorb enough damage and do enough to him that I'm going to be better off in the end anyway.
Sounds good. How about Frank? What's Frank doing?
Yeah, he's gonna just take another shot from cover there.
Give me the rolls.
Lucas is hiding behind the tree, but with this new information, he's also going to try and reach out with his empathy.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me the roll with the. Do you roll with your empathy?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just waiting my turn.
Okay. You can queue up the roll though. So Frank, you lean out, and I'm going to say that your shot again. You're not getting a bead on this guy as he staggers. Jacob, you managed to hit him again.
But he's gonna hit me if he's shooting at me.
Well, here's the thing: is he's shooting one. He's doing a kick some ass roll with the two of you. Okay,
Right.
But I'm just trying to put some things in perspective. So, of the two of you, Frank rolled worse on that. Frank, you're going to take another slug, this one to your thigh, as he shoots. But I'm going to say that I shouldn't say your thigh. Frank, you're going to take another shot. This one is going to be fully absorbed by your flak jacket because of the position that Jacob's last shot put this guy in. So you get hit again. You don't manage to connect with him. And Jacob, you do hit him again, though not quite as forcefully as the first time.
The question is, does he hit me again as well?
No.
Because
No.
a 7+ says we each do harm to each other, but I'm going to heal. But if he hits me, I'm not going to heal, obviously.
No. So I'm just trying to make this be as logical as possible with the way he's shooting and the way you're shooting. Yes, there's shots being traded back and forth, but he tried to shoot Frank, and because of the position your last hit did.
So because I knocked him off balance last time, and he shot at Frank, not at me, I'm going to heal one. I'm going to hit him. He's not going to hit me.
Correct. But you do
Makes sense.
you do hear shouting from farther back in the woods, not the direction he was running. You think that the police have heard these shots and are yelling and on their way here.
For Lucas's empathy, do I take my +1 forward from the weird
Yes,
situation or not?
still part of the scene. Yes.
Well, I'm just wondering if it was even involved in the same thing.
Okay. Yes, this is you. You still have the +1 forward.
Okay.
You've seen this person that's shooting at your friends get hit a number of times. Any normal human being would have feelings of fear and pain, a number of emotions, Still a blank on this person. There's nothing there. But beyond that, nearby, somewhere in the woods, in the direction he was running, there are other blank spots that you don't like. You can tell that they're there. Despite the fact that you don't know there's people out there. You can feel these strange blank spots in your sense, in your mind, and they feel connected to each other somehow. These blank areas.
Connected to him as well?
Yes. And you can also hear that the police are on their way here, though they're on foot because they're trying to find out who's shooting and why they're shooting. And they're a ways off because you guys had walked for a distance a little bit. But you can hear somebody coming, but they're not going to make it here quickly. I'm going to say that second shot from Jacob's energy blast, this man kind of rocks back against the tree. And then it looks like he's going to turn and try to run again. It looks like he's trying to exit the fight. He's trying to escape. What would you two do, or the three of you do, as he spins? Doesn't drop his gun. He's still got a few shots left. He spins and starts sprinting away. And Lucas, he's sprinting towards these other blank spots, these other blanks that are somewhere in the woods nearby.
If I can come off from the side, I'd love to try to tackle him.
Oh, okay, so you're going to try to jump up, run up, and tackle him as he tries to get away. Give me a kick some ass roll.
I'm a martial arts man.
You just wasted your 12, though.
What's that?
You just wasted your 12, though.
Right.
As you see, okay, so Jacob and Frank, you see Lucas come busting out of the brush, sprints across, and jumps at this man, who as Lucas jumps at this man running into the deeper woods, a gunshot from somewhere else deeper in the woods connects with Lucas, Sounds about the same as the 38 from this guy, but another small caliber pistol, just a quick pop, and you see blood spray. Now, Lucas, are you wearing a flak jacket?
I'm not.
Okay. 2 points of damage as a small caliber round slams into your shoulder, spinning you off balance and slamming you to the ground.
I do have an ability that will reduce that by 1, though.
Okay, then down to 1 but the shot still takes you off balance as you dove at this guy. You slam into the ground and skid away as he runs off into the woods. Jacob and Frank, you see Lucas get shot and this guy runs off into the woods. Any reactions?
So that guy's running in the woods, but Jacob still got shot. So the first thing I'm going to do is scan to see where the other shot came from.
Okay.
But assuming I notice maybe another silhouette, the fact that Jacob got up and dove at the guy like he wanted to tackle him, I'm going to assume that he wants to save him, so I'm going to actually use magic to try and cast a spell to trip the guy up.
Okay. I do think that you do see it's shadowy and in the distance at the very edge of the range of what a pistol would probably be. Somewhere towards where this man is running, there's another shadowy figure that took a shot, but also that immediately turns and runs farther away. You can go ahead and try to use magic. Just tell me what it looks like, what it does, and then give me the roll.
So I'm going to, again, feel around in my pocket and look for a bit of string or something to physically visualize rope that I want to use to basically trip the guy, wrap around the guy's feet, and cause him to trip and fall.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to do. So I grab a bit of frayed string out of my pocket. I hold it and I start rubbing it between my fingers as I encant, some words, and fail horribly.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. So as you incant some words, the string lights fire and burns away almost like a very quick fuse. And Frank, you're still standing next to Jacob, right? You took a couple shots. You're reeling from that. I think that Frank, you hear this out loud. Jacob, you do too as well. As that string burns away, you hear a voice kind of whisper in the wind. Pennsylvania? What are you doing in Pennsylvania? And then it kind of fades on the wind. Frank, anything that you'd be doing as this guy runs away?
Yeah, I'm going to go up to Lucas, gun drawn still. Do I have a beat on the guy that's running?
Not really. I mean, unless you're going to try to chase him, he's run off into the woods. If you're going to check on Lucas, then you're going to lose sight of this guy.
Yeah.
If he's starting to run by me, I'm going to he's not alone. There's more of them.
Okay. He ran up to you. That's when you say that, then Lucas. So Lucas is letting you know there's other ones that are out there.
All right. Yeah. So I'm just going to try to recover Lucas, cover him, I mean, if I see anything, I'm going to shoot at it.
Okay.
But if I can't see anything...
Okay. Jacob, how did you react to that voice when Frank was standing next to you?
So as soon as I heard that, Jacob's like, shit. He crouches down behind a tree, looking around.
Okay. And you did mark an experience for that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I leveled up on my last mess, by the way.
Nice. The woods go quiet, other than occasionally an angry call from a bird or a chipmunk, as you hear your breathing and you hear in the distance the cops, the police officer, Sergeant. You hear Sergeant Barnes' voice. Who's out there? Where? Yell out! Tell me where you're at! Who's there? This is Blackwood PD! And he's not necessarily coming towards you, so if you don't lead him to you, he probably won't find you. Unless you want him to find you.
This is the game where I hate the fact that I fail less than you guys.
Yeah. God, I wish I'd screw up more often. You marked experience when you missed the kick some ass. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But that marks Now I have 2 of 5 experience where they both just got a new ability.
Gotcha.
So
We fail more than you. I mean, come on.
That was my joke.
Frank got incrementally better aim with his handguns after missing all those times.
Hey, learning in the field, that's how it works, right?
And honestly, all those misses would have been mixed successes. And I had that bonus, so.
Nice. So as the scene quiets then, do you draw the attention of Sergeant Barnes to help him find you, or do the three of you keep quiet, other than the heavy breathing and the sound of birds and squirrels?
Well, I check on Lucas when I get up to him, and Lucas, like, you getting any reads on anything? Like, what's going on?
Horrible reads, like there are multiple targets like him. I don't think we should let the police go after them.
Okay.
And as those two do that, I shift into a coyote and take off running after him.
Okay.
Do we see him do that?
Do you let them see you do that?
Yeah, I mean, if they're looking at me, sure.
Okay, I think that it would draw your attention. What does the shift look like? Is it a quick thing? Is it amorphous? Is there light? What does it look like?
So my ability is shapeshifter, which is one form or alternate forms, usually an animal, but I like the animal feel, and it actually helps with a mystery. It gives me the senses of an animal more than anything. It doesn't necessarily make me faster, but I have smell now. It's pretty quick. I can shift between them at will and go. So, like, they'll see me, like, I'm crouched down behind the tree after the voice said something, and then coming out from behind the tree will be a coyote chasing after this guy.
So 1 second it's Jacob, the next second coyote. Just almost.
Yeah.
So you basically pass something, you pass behind a tree. I like that. So as you step behind a tree, as Jacob, a coyote runs up the other side.
Yep.
Nice. So the two of you see that happen as a coyote runs off into the woods trying to track this person by smell. And it's not hard. This person is not a clean person. Not a big hygiene guy. He's also been hit a couple times with things. He's bleeding. But as you're running, following him along, you do see in your coyote form, it looks like his clothes have been torn both from the run through the woods as well as the harsh treatment from your blasts of magic. And it looks like his pocket was torn open, and you see a crumpled paper that has fallen out of his pocket. He's still in the distance, but you're hearing and smelling multiple people up in front of you that are all running away as fast as they can. But you do come across a crumpled piece of paper on the ground that he clearly dropped. Would you continue on, or would you stop?
No, I'll stop and grab the paper in my mouth.
Okay.
And then turn to look at what Jacob and Frank, or Jacob, I'm Jacob, what Frank and Lucas are doing.
I imagine that you've pulled Lucas back to his feet. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, Lucas, if we don't want the cops tangling with these guys, we should probably head back and then call out so they find us, so they don't keep going into the woods.
We have
Get any
got to come up with something for gunfire. Got next
They
one.
saw the guy leave. They saw the guy leave. We just didn't catch him.
Right.
Do you return to the group then, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay. In human form or in coyote form?
As I get close to him, yes, I turn back into human form, and I have multiple gunshot wounds on me as well.
Okay. All right. So then, was I reading that right? That you guys are going to yell out for Sergeant Barnes?
We're gonna backtrack a little bit back toward the road,
Okay.
and then call out just so that we're not drawing him further, closer to the whatever.
Okay. So you
Blank.
cut the distance between the road and yourself, heading towards him, and eventually he sees you. He's got his service revolver drawn, and he says, like, hold it, what are you guys doing out here? I heard gunfire. Jesus Christ, what happened to you two? And he sees all of you have gunshot wounds on you. He's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, there was a straggler from the crowd, turned and started shooting at us. We returned fire, but he got away, ran deeper into the woods.
I didn't. Okay, who was it? He's like, come on, let's get back to the road. I gotta call this in. Captain's wanting to know what's happening. And you can see like his cruiser is out there with the lights going, not the siren, but he's trying to get all three of you to head back towards the road. And as long as you're willing to accompany him, he gets back and he's like, Captain, it's those three new guys. That department, the agency, whatever. They chased somebody into the woods who looks like they took some fire, and a couple of them got shot. Looks kind of superficial. They'd probably be okay. But what do you want me to do? And you hear the captain's voice come over, and he says, "Well, I just spoke with an agent, Pullman, earlier, and she's probably going to want a report on this. So just instruct Agent Dresman to check in with her, maybe fill out some paperwork, and have them all stop at the hospital if they need to get checked out. But find out who it was. We'll try to wrap this up, and we'll see if we can get a couple volunteers from the fire department to start sweeping the woods and see who can find that might be out there with a gun." And then there's a little bit of back and forth, but you hear all of this. Roy fills you in, Sergeant Roy Barnes fills you in. He's got a real sour look on his face this whole time, but he can tell that all of you look like you've been banged up a little bit, but it's all superficial. And he finally just says, all right, I got to get back up there and wrap up this body, and now we've got a shooter in the woods, and ever since you guys came to town, it's just been one thing after another. All right, well, he says, if you need, he's like, I can give you a ride back to your car if you want.
No, that's all right. We gotta catch up amongst ourselves here and make sure we're okay. But we'll head up on foot. Thanks, though.
Fine. And he piles into his cruiser, pulls a Yui in the dust, leaves you there as he speeds back up the road towards the murder scene, leaving the three of you standing there in the dirt.
I go back into the woods where I hid the pristine bear trap.
Yep.
And bring it back out. And so Jacob, what's this thing first of all, and what's it have to do with anything?
I stepped on it. I mean, it doesn't look like a normal bear trap to me. Not that I'm a woodman.
Now that you're not in the woods, in the darker shadows, now that there's a little bit of sunlight and the adrenaline from all of this is worn off, both from getting it immediately, or its initial pain that it caused to you, Jacob, the three of you take a look at this. The bear trap is made, is coated in silver.
Yeah, I was assuming that. So we got a silver bear trap. We got a large two-legged beast out there shredding people, and now we've got soulless people out shooting at us.
Soulless? What do you mean soulless?
Whoever we're dealing with, the guy that was shooting it, all of us, I guess, he had no emotional reading whatsoever. And then once the gunfire started, I realized he wasn't alone. There were multiple others that felt the same way off in the woods.
So we're dealing with a cult type of thing. It sounds like it's more of a group, maybe?
It's a group, and it's new to me. I'm not familiar with this.
Interesting. Well, I might be able to use magic to track the bear trap back to the owner. But that's the only way I have to go. We lost. Unless you guys want to go out in the woods and try and find the trail.
I know that if we encounter them, it's very easy for me to find out that it's them.
Yeah, I say we've had enough action for right now. Let's take the bear trap back with us. We'll throw it in the caddy, and let's try to come up with a plan back at the base. I got to check back in with Agent Pullman, or she's going to start causing more trouble for us than we need right now.
And I wouldn't mind going through some of my old records to see if I can't find any reference to anything like this.
Okay, Jacob will go get in the caddy, in the passenger seat. Okay. As I go by Lucas, I'm like, no offense, this is just a little more comfortable for me.
Of course.
So the three of you walk back up the dirt road back towards the scene. Now the gunshots were heard up there, so this crowd of people are very interested in you three walking back up with gunshot wounds, blood on your clothes.
I just have holes in my clothes, so that's why I kind of.
You do, yes. Well, let me ask you a question, and this will be an aesthetic. This is an aesthetic choice. You shifted from human form to coyote and back. Are there holes in your clothes anymore?
Yes, my clothes still are clothes. The materials that I have stay the same way.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to say. Yep, I wasn't sure if you wanted to say that your whole form was you.
Right. No, I get what you're saying, but no, I still wear clothes.
Okay. All right. They do definitely take note of you as the three of you walk back up. The sergeant has basically cordoned off your vehicles so that when you get back, you can get to them without interacting with people. And then were you guys just jumping in the cars and on the motorcycle and then heading back to the Hendrik House, or where were you going?
Yeah, that's my plan.
Frank, the next time I badmouth Prism, just remind me of this situation. Hey, I'm glad you're here.
Well, hopefully we can get rid of the red tape here soon and get this thorn in my ass out of here.
As you drive back up towards Hendrik House, the sirens did eventually stop in town. You make your way through town. You do see a lot of activity in town on Main Street as people are talking about whatever's happening up at on Diggins Road, whatever's happening up at Baker Pond. You see a lot of just a lot of people moving around talking about stuff. You see your car and your motorcycle are new to town. The three of you are new to town. You get a lot of attention as you drive back through town, but eventually you make it back to Hendrik House, wheel in and park in the parking place where you've been staying for the last week, and then tell me what happens when you get back to the house.
Jacob's tired. I'm ready to go take a nap. So I actually go to my room and I'm going to lay down for a minute.
Okay. All right. So
using my abilities does drain me.
Okay. So it's only about maybe slightly after noon at this point. But Jacob, as you come in, you make a beeline to your room, close the door, and are you actually taking a nap in your room?
Yes.
Okay.
I like lay down. I do need to somehow recoup, and I don't know that I necessarily sleep completely, but I need rest.
Okay. All right. And Lucas and Frank, what are you doing?
Is Agent Pullman around?
She is, yeah. When you come back, she actually, I think when you get out of the Cadillac and start walking up, she meets you on the front steps with clipboard in hand, and she says, "Oh, perfect. You're right on time. We can go ahead and start the inventory of your weapons cache."
Oh, Agent Pullman. So happy to see you this morning, or this afternoon. You said we got a call from HQ. What was that about?
Well, there was a one of the mystics that work for the agency were basically a alert came in through our mystic network that a flash of supernatural energy was felt in Blackwood this morning, and based on listening to the police scanner, it sounds like there was a murder. So I'm going to put those two together, and I assume based on what your friend, and she points towards Lucas, who's pulling in and dismounting the motorcycle. I said, based on what your friend said this morning, I'm assuming you've gone to check that out. Though I expected a phone call of some sort. We can go over the report for that, though. This will only take a few hours.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, let me just go get cleaned up and changed out of these dirty clothes, and we'll get right on that.
I'll be waiting for you right here, and she points right next to the car. So the two of you then head in. Frank, knowing that you've got a commitment now that somebody's going to be basically chewing up some of your time. Lucas, what are you going to be doing?
Definitely going to be taking some aspirin or Tylenol or whatever I got on hand and maybe disinfecting this wound.
Okay.
While I'm blaring some music in my room. Shortly thereafter, I'm going to get on my computer and start sifting through my files to see if I can find anything related to emotionless people.
Sure. All right. I'm going to say we're going to do a little montage of time that skips forward then. A few hours go by. Frank, are you going to do what Agent Pullman's asking and do a report as well as an inventory and spend those hours with her?
Yeah, well.
Okay. So that's how your next few hours, probably until about dinner time of that day, goes, is basically going through piece by piece the weapons cache in the trunk, as well as a detailed report of what happened while you were out. I think in your head that some of this time could be better spent, investigating, maybe talking to people around town, trying to find witnesses, but Agent Pullman is chewing up a lot of your time. Lucas, you're combing through files, looking at message boards, checking some old books, checking some old files on DVD or CD that you have, looking for something about emotionless people. That sounds like an investigative mystery to me. So go ahead and give me...
Absolutely where I was headed with that.
Give me one of those rolls, and then after a few hours of rest and recuperation, just to recenter yourself, Jacob, how would you spend the remainder of that afternoon?
So Jacob's re-energized, and he has 3 things he needs to do that he feels he needs to do. First is he's still got 1 wound left, so he wants to try to heal himself.
Okay.
Second is I need to go check on Lucas and see if he needs any healing. And then third is figure out what type of magic I need to analyze the bear trap and see where it came from, see if I can track back its owner. So I'm going to take that down in the basement and start using my mysticism, my arcane magic, writing notes to figure that out. So those are the 3 things I'm doing.
Okay, we're going to start off with you're trying to heal yourself. So tell me how that goes.
So I still have 1 harm. I hold my hand over my stomach where the last wound is, and while there is no blood, there is still a hole there because it hasn't healed yet.
Right.
The one in my shoulder did heal when I hit him with the second shot of mine, so I'm going to use magic and I'm going to try to heal myself a 1.
Okay. Which you successfully do. There's a little glow of energy, and then that hole closes up, the wound vanishes, you feel a better, more solid corporeal form. And then you said you were heading to Lucas's room, you hear the loud music going, so you bang on the door in order to get his attention.
Oh, I don't bang on the door.
Okay.
I just walk through the door.
Okay. So Lucas, as you're researching, there's music going, all of a sudden Jacob just materializes through the door. Just very Vision.
Slams his laptop lid down.
Yeah. Very, very much like Vision in the Avengers, just Jacob walks through the door.
Researching. I was researching.
I'm in my quiet place.
Sorry to barge in, Lucas. You okay? You need help?
I'll be all right. I mean, if there's anything you can do, I wouldn't mind the help, but I'll
say, well, I can try and heal it with magic, but if the spell goes awry, it could hurt worse than it does better. So I leave the decision up to you.
I'll be all right. Thanks.
Okay.
Let me ask a question. So I imagine you have the bear trap with you because you're intending on going to research that.
Well, I don't, because so the way I look at my incorporeal, and so maybe this aesthetic kind of doesn't make sense with the holes in my clothes, but I don't think that big items that I carry with me go incorporeal with me. So no.
Okay.
You know, that's why I dropped it when I was running through the woods. My clothes, they go incorporeal with me, or small items. But anything big like a bear trap, I can't take with me.
Okay, so small items, do you still have the parchment then with you?
Yes.
Okay.
That's small.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that, if I got to be honest with you, with everything that's been going on.
That's why I'm reminding you.
Right? And I will look at that, now that you reminded me of it.
Are you looking at that with Lucas?
No, well, I go, here, Lucas, maybe this will help. I forgot I found this in the woods with everything going on. And I hand it to Lucas.
Okay.
You guys are better at this investigation stuff.
So Lucas,
What do we have here?
Jacob hands you this crumpled up paper with blood stains on it that you unfold, and there is writing on it. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys. I assume that you're not keeping any of this stuff secret, right?
I can't think of anything I'm keeping secret at the moment.
Okay. So he hands you this note that basically says, "The gates of death will be thrown wide, power unlimited, a gift to the bold. When the bones of love lost violent are soaked in," and then it kind of cuts off from there. There's a few other words that you might be able to make out. The bottom says something about when the HEAR. And this, you explained that this was dropped by this person that was shooting at you?
I say this must have fallen out of his pocket. I found this as I was chasing after him.
Okay. What?
Hey.
What's up?
No, I was reading the
Okay.
message.
You said you wanted to go and take the bear trap to the basement then? Is that still the plan?
That's where I'm going to make my way to next, because that's my field, but just to see if I can find anything to track these guys with through magic or some form.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say that you head down into the basement with the bear trap and start working out some formulas, maybe some sketching out a ritual spot for you to do this.
But that's assuming that these guys can't find something else
Right.
by normal means, too.
Right now, this little montage scene of back and forth, most of Frank's time is tied up, unless you cut it short. If you're willing to humor Agent Pullman and stay with her, it just takes right about until dinner time. So I would if Lucas, you have anything you want to do with this new information, you can make another roll on something if you want to try something. But Frank, let me ask you again. You're just humoring Agent Pullman with what she's asking.
Well, yeah, because I knew the other two guys here wanted to do things too, so I'm pretty much just buying them time to do whatever they wanted to do, and to mostly keep her off my back as much as possible.
Sounds good.
But
she does occasionally, not in like a conversation, but some of her questions you do notice kind of circle back and are leading towards questions that are going to be like when you give the report. Let me ask you something. When you give the report of what happened today,
mm-hmm.
You've said that you're trying to keep some secrets on your companions. Do you say things like Jacob then turned into a coyote and ran into the woods? Or do you gloss things over like that?
Yeah. No, yeah, I would just say that they were part of the firefight. That Lucas got shot attempting to tackle the person. But no, I'm not gonna say anything about the voice I heard, about him
Big chase.
about
Not necessarily in coyote form.
right.
Okay, so you are glazing over some of the details, and I think that you notice that she notices about some of those things and is trying to like lead you back and almost like talking in circles, like, and then your friend Jacob did what exactly? And you can tell it's a spot that, like, a lot of times it's been spots that you've left vague on purpose. So you can tell she's trying to dig for information. Not that you're giving it up. She's just trying to dig a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's still how you're spending that time. Lucas, did you want to continue pushing on the emotionless people, or do you want to redirect your research towards this note?
I had already rolled for the emotionless people.
Okay, then we'll stick with that then. The closest you can find, so investigate a mystery, that's a 10. I think you get 2 questions from a 10.
2 questions.
Yep.
What sort of creature is this?
Okay. These are fully humans. There is nothing supernatural about these humans. But having said that, based on the research that you're looking into, different groups from different parts of the world throughout history that have had these behaviors, you believe that there is a third source, or not a third. There is another source of power or magic affecting these people. These are regular human beings, based on what you can determine, but they are being affected by another source of power. So that's your first question. What was your second question? And does it change based on what I just gave you?
Okay. What are they going to do?
Okay. In the past, when you've done some research, there was a recorded period in India in the mid 1800s where so again, you're digging into occult mysteries. You read it as a wizard of some sort, somebody who was a powerful magic user, mentally dominated a small village and forced them to do his bidding. At that time, this small village was basically going out and capturing neighboring villages, capturing people for ritual sacrifice.
Ew. That's not nice.
Right. So that's what you learn based on your research on the blanks.
Okay.
In the basement.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say we also have the note now, though.
Right.
But
I'm just saying, like, that's how that took you that amount of time throughout the day. In the basement, Jacob, you are trying to concoct a rite or ritual that is going to allow you to track back to whoever placed this bear trap, or are you trying to tie this bear trap to the blank people?
No, I'm trying to write a ritual that will allow me to track this bear trap back to whoever put it there, because it was in the middle of a campground, which doesn't make any sense, and it's silver. So was somebody trying to catch a supernatural creature other than me? Does somebody know who killed the person and is keeping quiet? Because to me, this bear trap is an anomaly, and I think that whoever placed it might know something about what's going on.
Okay. All right. Describe what your magic looks like, and go ahead and give me a use magic roll.
Well, that's my. Is this going to be big magic or is this going to be
No,
magic?
it's not big magic. You're basically trying to draw a connection from whoever put that trap to wherever they are right now, is what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's not big magic. That's just a connection that you're
Okay.
trying to make. If you wanted
So
to
then
do
I
something,
draw-
if you want to do something more, we can move on to big magic. But what you're trying to do is simple.
Nope.
Okay.
So I just draw. What I do is on the table, I draw magical sigils and arcane, using chalk, different various forms of it, and I put the trap in the middle of the circle, and then can over it, and let's see if I found anything.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay. I think that as you recite the incantations, your hands trace symbols above the trap, a little bit of the lines on the floor start to glow. I think that your vision clouds over, and you kind of feel yourself, or at least your vision, kind of rush through the air, out of the house, up the stairs, through the front door, and out over town. It kind of zooms over town, and eventually you see it settle on the old abandoned factory that was at one point the Hendrik's gun factory. And in the back of that factory, there is a nondescript black van that your vision zooms towards before phasing through the wall. And inside the black van, there are a total of 5 people. 1 person sitting in the driver's seat, and 4 people sitting along benches in the back of the van. None of them are talking. None of them are moving their hands or their faces. Their eyes all stare blankly straight ahead. But you can tell that the person in the driver's seat is the one that put the trap there. And they're all wearing like shabby, kind of dirty clothing. You see the man that you chased in the back of the van for a moment as your vision narrows on the person in the driver's seat, but you do definitely see the man that you chased sitting in the back of this black van. And they're all kind of just grubby, long, kind of stringy hair, stubble on their faces. There's like 3 men. There's 2 women. And then after your vision narrows to that man in the driver's seat, who's literally, he's sitting there with his hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. The van's not moving, it's turned off, and he's just sitting there, and they're just, nothing's happening. It almost looks like a scene in still, but you can see their chests all rise and fall. They're breathing, but none of them are moving. And then your vision closes, and you reopen your eyes back in the basement.
When I come to, I rush up the stairs. I'm like, Frank,
Okay.
Lucas.
Yep. I think around then you've just finished up with your inventory and your report with Agent Pullman. You're just coming back in the house. Just having finished up what you were doing as Jacob comes running up out of the basement screaming your name. And Lucas, does Lucas hear it over the sound of his music?
Probably not. No.
Okay. Well, Jacob, you come right up to Frank and Agent Pullman, who have just entered the house as you come running out of the basement.
I stop as soon as I see him home.
She looks to you and she says, yes, Mr. Hanover, you seem to be agitated for some reason, something that one of us could help you with.
Well, ma'am, you haven't been much help. You just seem to kind of like note things, so Frank might be able to help me. I'm sorry. That's offensive. I'm just being honest.
Oh, I understand that you have a working relationship with Agent Dresmond. I'm going to retire to my room and file this report, though any further information on this case, and she looks to you, Frank, she says, and this is a case now, any further information I'm sure will be reported to me in a timely fashion, correct?
Oh, of course. We'll fill out all the forms, keep you abreast of everything. Have a lovely evening.
Perfect. And she turns and walks away, heels clicking on the tile floor.
As she turns to walk away, I like nudge next to Frank, and I don't fill out forms, Frank.
But clearly she hears it, doesn't pay any attention to it, turns and walks away towards her room. But actually, I'm going to say that she walks past Lucas's door as she's walking, which you can all hear music coming from. As she walks past, she, like, with her pen, taps the door and she says, "Volume 7, sir," and then continues walking. Which
sure thing, hot stuff.
Which I don't think you hear at all, but the two of you then, would you go and collect Lucas?
Yeah.
We gotta
so,
get Lucas. The
What's
van.
up?
I found the people. And Jacob's excited. I'm excited right now. I found them. They're at the old gun factory in a van. We got to get there quick.
All right, hold on. I just spent the whole afternoon cataloging all the serial numbers of all of the armaments in my trunk. Like, let's fill me in here on everything you guys came up with. Let's go crash Lucas's party and combine notes here.
No time. Let's get Lucas and go.
So I'm going to say the two of you push through the door into Lucas's room, the music blaring. Lucas, you see an agitated Jacob and Frank enter your room.
What's up?
Lucas, we gotta go. Let's go. They're at the old gun factory.
Okay, let's go. Shutting shit down.
Are you guys all going?
All right.
Well, I rush out to the caddy. I don't drive. I get in the caddy, in the passenger seat, and I just sit there and wait.
Okay.
So Lucas, I don't know what has crawled up his ass, but he's a man on a mission. Apparently, he knows where these blank people are. Have you come across anything this afternoon, and have you gotten any further with anything?
I think they're being controlled by something.
As you two are having this conversation, are you on your way to the Cadillac?
Yeah, not as quickly as Jacob was. But
Okay.
These are just people. They're from what I can gather, they're just people. Something else is behind this. Something's controlling them.
Any idea on motivation? Like what on earth are they? Why were there? Why was the one there at the crowd? Why were they out in the woods at the scene of the murder?
Not entirely sure.
The two of you have entered the Cadillac at this point, and Jacob is sitting in the passenger seat, did you say?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So we get in, start the car up. All right, Jacob, what's going on? You gotta give me something here.
I don't know what's going on. I just know that these people, they're the ones that set this trap in the middle of nowhere, and they're in a black van by the factory. We can't let them get away again.
So what are we gonna do? We gonna follow them?
I'm thinking we're dealing with two sides of something right here. There's more than one thing at play.
Why are you thinking that?
So has Frank not started driving yet?
The engine has started, but not yet. Because I don't even know
Okay.
what we're doing yet.
Okay. I think Lenore lands on the hood at this point, around when Lucas says, I think we're dealing with two sides of something. Kind of lands on the hood and kind of cocks her head and caws a little bit. So the question that Frank posed, and just to throw this out there, was, so what are we doing?
So, in other words, Frank hasn't been here when you guys have been researching all this stuff. So,
No, I get that.
I, as
But
a player, have information that Frank doesn't.
But right now, Lucas to Jacob is the voice of reason, so the spotlight's on Lucas right now.
Honestly, like, what am I getting from Lenore? Is it urgency? Is it you're an idiot?
I think you're, from an empathy standpoint, the feeling that you're getting as you're preparing to go towards what Jacob is trying to pull you towards is that there's a tension and an anxiety and maybe some danger.
All right, then my first reaction would be to check our surroundings, our current surroundings more closely.
Okay. I
see Lucas. Well, I see Lenore, and then I see. Anytime I see Lenore, I go right to Lucas to see what his reaction is, because I don't. It's bird to me. I mean, I know that there's
right.
special bird, but I don't perceive that. I just know that Lucas perceives things through Lenore, and so.
And you can see Lucas kind of scanning the surroundings all of a sudden, which you guys are still parked in front of the house.
Is there something going on?
Lenore's freaked out, man. Something's going on, but I don't know exactly what.
Also,
guys, we gotta get these people.
Okay. Also, just to throw this out in there as the keeper right now, does Lucas or Jacob, does it occur to them to mention the note that you found and read?
I feel that should have been more something that we looked into, but like you said, we only had so much time, and I was looking into other things. Had I been given more time before you said, let's get the hell out of here, I probably would have looked into that as well, but
Frank
I haven't had
doesn't
enough
know it
time.
exists.
Right. Frank doesn't know that the note exists.
As far as Jacob's concerned, I gave it to Lucas, and his job is not the investigative per se job.
Right.
He's got his train of thought right now, and if Frank isn't driving, then Jacob gets out and starts running down the street.
Okay, you can see Jacob nearing that point. Like, Jacob's gonna, you can tell he's about ready to jump out and start running down the street. Is that something that would prompt Frank to drive, or no?
Well, no, not with the. I'm trying to assess the situation around us.
Okay. I'm going to say then, as you're trying to figure out if what Lenore is telling, whatever is happening between Lenore and Lucas is something pertinent right now, that you hear the door open to the caddy and you see Frank. So just to lay out the town a little bit too, from where Hendrik's house sits, it looks down over the town. The weapons factory, the gun factory, is maybe only a half mile away, and it's on the way to town. There's like a used car dealership, and then the old weapons factory. So it's only going to take Jacob a minute or two to sprint that far to get a half mile. Jacob, you hear the door open, and Jacob gets out and starts chucking down the road.
Oh,
Back and forth between Lenore and Jacob. I'm out of the car as well, and I'm going to follow after Jacob. But I'm also I'm looking off in all directions. I'm not just looking after Jacob.
Okay.
Because something else is going on here.
So, Frank, you've got to feel a little exasperated sitting in an armored car with all the weapons that your friends were like, let's just go on foot.
Indeed. That's exactly how Frank feels. He's blown his mind. By the time I even got over Jacob sprinting out of the car and then sprinting off, and then Lucas takes off too, now I'm sitting in a running car.
Right, and Lenore does follow Lucas.
Okay. Yeah. Did Jacob say that they were at the factory?
Yep, he did.
Okay. All right. So I at least know that's where he's going.
So I guess the question now is, would you want to go with them, or do you want to go do something else that is furthering this mystery? Like, just because you know they're going someplace doesn't mean you also have to go. So
right.
What would Frank do?
I mean, Frank also wants to. I mean, if these guys are running off to, and I know that Jacob is hell bent on these blanks who just got done shooting at us a few hours ago.
Right.
So I know we're going into a dangerous situation here. I'm not going to leave them high and dry.
Okay.
But I'm not going to follow them on foot. I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive to the factory in the car.
Okay.
and be able, he mentioned they were in a van, right? So
He did.
Yeah, so I'm on the lookout for this van just in case.
Okay. So Jacob and Lucas, you guys are not bound by the road the way that the Cadillac is. There's actually just a steep hill that you can run down that heads towards the back of the factory. And I imagine, Jacob, you were taking the most direct path and Lucas following along. So the two of you...
And once again, Lucas is dragging ass because he's looking in every direction whatsoever because he thinks there's something else going on.
Okay. It's late in the afternoon, nearing evening, but it's summertime still. It's crazy hot out still, which I think Lucas feels a lot because I believe you wear a lot of layers and whatnot. You're running down the side of this hill as you can see Frank in the Cadillac taking the rounded road that leads down to the far side of the factory. As you come barreling down, you reach the very dilapidated and no longer used was a parking lot basically at one point, or place where they would have storage or whatnot for the gun factory. This is a massive, what you would consider like a 4-story stone building. Parts of it are actually, one part of the roof is caved in. Lots of the windows are smashed in from like kids throwing rocks. There's graffiti on the walls. There's old loading docks that you're passing. And Jacob, you're just still running around the outside of it trying to get to where you know that van was just moments ago. Luke is trailing along behind, Lenore flying overhead, occasionally cawing. As you were nearing this place, that connection with Lenore, Lucas, you can feel is like the danger is ramping up as you get closer and closer to whatever's coming up. Frank, as you wheel around the way the road takes you to this factory, you pass the used car dealership. You can see it catches your eye because Frank is an observant professional. You're used to clocking a lot of details on the way there. And you remember being told that somebody hit what they think was a bear at one point. You can see this used car dealership must also serve as like a mechanic shop because there is a totaled vehicle there, a pickup truck, that the entire front of the pickup truck has been caved in to the point where like it pushed the engine back into the front seat. Just fully caved in, and it looks like it was been towed here and it's set out front. And you can see just like broken glass and little bits of fur and stuff stuck to the front of this truck. But as you drive by there, you pull into the side of the factory, and I think around then Jacob comes getting around the corner of the factory to the back side of it, which kind of faces back up against the wall. It's like you got the factory and then a narrow parking lot behind it, and then almost like a very steep embankment that they dug out of the hill near it. And there's like an old dumpster back there. There's, just little bits of debris. There's even an old car that looked like it was abandoned here a while back. But there is an idling black van that I'm going to say the way that you all arrive, Jacob and Lucas come around one end of the factory, and on the far end, which is a good 200 yards away, the Cadillac pulls around the other end, and between you is the black van just idling. And I think that's where we're going to stop this episode of Monster of the Week, as you all arrive at the back of the weapons, the abandoned gun factory, with this black van full of what you believe to be the blanks. All right, hope everybody had fun, and we'll pick up next time for the next episode of Blackwood95. Thanks, everybody.
Blah, blah, blah.